today. In fact, he might get the lot of them. He's got plenty on that.
Drop below. Hodge from the boundary. Shoveling Hodge. Have a look at that goal. You can't do that unless you ain't Luke Hodge. He was always going to kick it.
Seen that before. And he's paid and taken by Hodge. Nice little sneaky move. Beautiful stick step. Chance from there, Luke Hodge. No, not much. What about you? Bit wet today.
Yeah, golf might look too good.
We're on.
How good are they? How close do you need to?
No, just like this.
Like that?
Perfect. Yeah. So what's going on?
Not much.
Not much.
Not much, mate. Just nice sunny Brisbane day. So it's actually the first time I pulled out a jumper in about 6 months. So
Yeah.
no, all going well.
Last time I saw you, we were at Walks' wedding with our long ties on.
Yeah, mate. Well, lucky. I actually that day because had races the day before, and I wore down just a cream slacks and had to text Daniel Riches to make sure the time, and so I could have went out there in an all black tie suit with cream pants. So it was
That would have been brilliant. That would have been brilliant.
yeah, and it was out. It wasn't as if I could go and get changed, but no, we did stand out. Everyone had the nice bow ties on, and we went for the old school standard tie.
How was the races? Because you did like Derby Day and all those things. How was that?
It was really good. I'm not massively into horses, but to go along and just to experience something like just to experience back with so many people there again. I know we missed, especially down south, they missed the races for a number of years because of COVID. So to see 60, 70 people there, 1,000 people there at Derby Day, and then Melbourne Cup Day was just huge. I backed up after Walker's wedding. I was smart. I left Walker's.
I didn't even see you leave.
Yeah, I smoke bombed. Yeah, it was when I think you were about to start dancing.
Did you? You should have, mate. It ended bad for me. I vomited in my old man's car. He picked me up, and they were trying to get me out. Wouldn't want to leave.
Yeah, I thought because it was very calm early, and then they got the speeches over and done with real quickly, which meant people could relax and have a few beers. So I snuck out the side, got someone to pick me up just so I could be fresh for Melbourne Cup Day.
Yeah, it didn't end well for me. But,
I've been there before. I've learned a few times. You mature a little bit as you get a bit older.
Yeah. Let's talk about golf because you're a full-time golfer now, pretty much. How often are you actually playing?
Look, when I retired, I reckon I spent 2-3 days a week at the course for about 6 months.
Yeah.
And then my wife said, "Look, it's becoming a bit of an addiction. You need to." It was not only that, footy. It was because up here as well. The year I finished was when all COVID hit, so I wasn't travelling. I was commentating with games. I was going from Gabba to Metricon, and played golf Friday morning and travelled down, and so I had a bit of flexibility. But this year, I reckon I played 3 times pretty much for the footy season, 3 or 4 times for the footy season.
You're kidding.
But now footy season's finished and I've stopped travelling. I've played twice this week. Was supposed to play yesterday, got called off, so I'm trying to make up for lost time.
Did you play before you got up here?
No, mate. You can tell by my swing that I didn't.
And so what did you start off, 30?
It was high 20s.
And now you're fucking off single figures.
No, I popped under 10 for about a round, and then jumped back out to about 11.
That's some serious golf in that time. We're not picking up playing much.
Yeah, the only reason why I got into golf was to meet you guys. Yeah. So I came up here as a 33-year-old, and then there was blokes like Cam Rayner and Bez and Huey who were 18, 19, and I'm not going to go at clubber with them. So I thought, how else can I mix to sort of play? And they said, why don't you come? I think it was Walks first said, why don't you come and Bundy? I think they come and said, why don't you come and over here to golf? Like, it's a good game. And look, I reckon I had about 70 in the front nine, and thinking this is not my temper. My temper wasn't great for golf, so it's actually been better for it. It's a lot more calming now than it used to be. But I remember I got addicted. I reckon it was a shocking round, but it was on the 16th at Brisbane. This is after on the 7th I hit a car on the road. I sliced it out into the road. It was par 5. I got in, chipped in for 3.
Yeah.
And I thought, how good is this? But Brisbane posted the actual card, and it was like 9-7, 9-3. So I think when you have a feeling like that, but I got the bug for golf and sort of haven't looked back.
Where are you playing? Are you a member anywhere?
I'm at Brisbane Golf Club.
Oh, you
and out at Brookwater.
Oh, so you got 2. You're going to join the boys at Pacific as well?
Yeah, a few of them. Benny Fletcher's over there, so I've had a few hits there, which is quite nice. But it's good to have flexibility of different courses because you can bring mates up. And I had my cousin and uncle and brother come up a couple of weekends ago, and we sort of did a bit of a golf trip at Brookwater, Brisbane, and all that. So
are you playing or are you practicing as well?
Nah,
just playing.
Yeah, it's pretty much just get out there and it was good. Went for 9 holes. We had meetings at Brookwater, Springfield with the Lions facility. So we went out there 2 hours early and just played 9 holes. And I was playing with them. I was pretty cruisy, so you're just practicing different stuff when you're going around. But when you got 4 kids and you travel a bit, if you get a chance to get out there, I'm not going to go and waste an hour at the range. You try and get out there and play as much as you can.
And what was that thing you played at the other day? You were fucking teeing off in front of about 1,000 people.
Yeah, that was
that?
It was the PGA at RQ, Royal Queensland. They do this. I think Sonic do a $2 million hole-in-one. So if you get it in, which clearly will no chance, it's $1 million to your charity and to their charity.
Oh, shit.
So I've rocked up there. I did it last year, and if people know, at Royal Queensland, you got a small par 4 and then a par 5. I sliced mine out into the par 5, and it was on TV, and it got sent to me from everyone that I know. So I thought this year I'll come and make up for it. And as I got to the register, they said, "Oh, you're playing with Adam Scott." And all of a sudden I've gone, "Oh shit!" I started sweating. I got nervous. May have had a couple of beers the night before, so the heart started pumping. There was probably 20 or 30 people on the tee box, and then you could see Adam Scott walking down, and there's about 300 people following him. So then he's come up, and then they've all hit. He's put it 10 metres from the pin, and then I've had to and I was sort of shaking. I just got the tee into the ground, but it actually come off okay.
Yeah, you flushed it. It looked like everyone went nuts.
Yeah. When I hit it, I've never had a hole-in-one. For a little second there, I'm like, shit, this could be it. This could be it. Clearly, I forgot that I'm not talented enough. I can't spin the ball, so I'd hit and then just rolled off the back. But I felt I made up for the embarrassment of the year before in front of all those people.
Have you hit a hole-in-one yet?
No.
Yeah, either. Gee, it'd be nice. Clay Beams hit 4 or 5.
Yeah, he did 2 on the same hole 2 weeks in a row.
That was at Brizzy.
Yeah, Brizzy. Yeah. On the 4th of Brisbane, 2 weekends in a row. 2 Wednesdays in a row. He went back to back.
Yeah, he's a fucking tin ass.
But didn't hear some people say, "Oh, I had him just lip out, mate." I've not got close.
Yeah.
I don't reckon I've been within a metre and a half of a hole in one.
I was at Barnbougle for his first one, and we're like, couldn't see it. We were like, "That's in. That is in." And I walked up, bang, pulled it out. Good feeling.
He's a fair talent.
He's a gun, eh? Yeah. Had everything: cricket,
Cricket,
golf, footy. Yeah. What about this new business you got going? Labouring.
Yeah,
stuff?
it's a labour hire. It's a labour hire business. So Luke Livingston used to play Carlton.
Yep.
So he actually bought the company about 4 years ago. Him and Dave McMahon. From one of my good mates in Melbourne who used to sponsor the Hawks. And so I've had a keen interest in it just through a mate owning it and running it. And they've done really well. They've got about 400 staff, 300 or 400 staff out in Victoria, and then they took it over to WA where Josh Kennedy, full forward for West Coast, he oversaw that. He was the state manager over there, and they're doing really well. They've got about 50 out there now, and we started about 10 weeks ago.
What are you doing for it?
State manager, so bit of just BDM work, trying to build the business. One thing it is with football is it's really good for contacts. Yep. So I've been up here for 5 years. I've sort of been able to touch base with a few contacts in Maroochydore Footy Club who sort of spread us to the Sunshine Coast, which was nice. And Clint Watts, our GM, he's coaching Labrador, so we've got a few contacts down south as well. So it's just putting time.
So what do you actually do? What is it?
So it's a lot for construction, civil. It's for hiring workers out there.
So if I wanted to go be a labourer, I could go through you guys?
Through us, and we
gotcha.
So
that's good.
We're just trying to find clients. So we've been lucky through the football and through the Lions. We've been able to find a number of clients, which I think we started off with one labourer and one carpenter, and now
it's great.
We've got 15, 16, but we've got about 400 on the books that have sort of registered with us, and I think because of what's going to happen up here, the next 10 years, the Olympics, everything's going to get
boom,
done over again. So looking to slow build and see how we go.
That's good. What about the media? I'm interested. Like, how does the media contracts and all shit work? Like, do you know? Is it like a draw for you? Like, you know exactly what game for the whole year?
Yes. So I've actually got a call after here,
right.
so they're letting us know sort of roughly what rounds we're going to have. So you sort of have it's like most other things. You'll have contracts on how many games you want to do. If you want to do 40 games for the year, 30, 25, and they just work it out from that. So I'm with the Friday night the crew with BT, James Brayshaw, Richo, Daisy Pearce, Abby Holmes jumps in occasionally if Daisy's playing, and we sort of stick together. And that crew did the grand final last year, which was good. It was a buzz to be back at the MCG after missing it for what we had last year at West Coast. Sorry, it's what is it? Optus Stadium over there, and then obviously the one up here at the Gabba. Which was good experiences, but you can't beat it back at the G.
Nah. Do you still get nervous doing it, or are you pretty comfortable now?
It's a little bit the same as football. If you do your prep and you know your stuff, you feel a bit more comfortable. So, and one good thing about the Friday night crew that we do is we do backups. So, if we've got Essendon, we'll do them 2 or 3 times over a month. Same with St Kilda, there'll be repeat games. So once you watch their games a little bit, you can sort of understand the game style, and then you try and watch for consistent themes, how they move the ball, just to try and explain it to people. But it's like anything, you stuff up, you make mistakes, and people are good enough to let you know via Twitter and all that. It's pretty much like football. If you miss a kick in football, people let you know how shit you are.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And if you call someone the wrong name, which everyone does it, you're thinking of a player and you say the wrong thing, and in your head you're like, shit, I hope no one hears that. And a lot of the time it's worse because you pick up a lot of your mistakes. But when you make the obvious ones, people soon let you know, whether it's mates or via Twitter, you know how.
Who's the worst at giving shit in the media? Like out of like James, like Brayshaw, and like, do they give you a stick if you do make a mistake?
It's not.
BT seems like he'd get into it.
Yeah, it's not far from I think that's how you feel comfortable, especially coming from a footy background where a lot of it is taking the piss. A lot of it's hanging shit on each other, and at least that's where you sort of get that mateship from. So it was the same as soon as I went into Channel 7. That's how it was. BT and JB. Hamish McLaughlin's a really good fella. I started my first couple years was with Bruce McAvaney, Dennis Committee. So I started doing some work with them from about 2012, 2013, and they're great people to learn off. So and it keeps you in the game.
So you're travelling nearly every week almost, apart from the Brizzy games.
So I think there was.
How's that go?
It's tiring by the end of it. It's at the start. It's good because I've got 4 boys, so you get to sleep in. You don't have to watch Peppa Pig. You can watch your own shows on TV. But I think this year I had one weekend at home from March 14 until just after.
One weekend.
Just after Spring Carnival.
Shit.
So I think I had roughly about 80 odd flights this year, which it sounds fun. I thought but by the end of it,
you're rooted.
And now I don't think I'm flying anywhere until Feb.
Oh, that's all right.
I might have to go to Melbourne once in Jan, but it'll be a nice base at home. But it's like you get home and kids give you the shits after a day. And you want to go.
What that's like.
Little kids can tend to spare. We got a 3-year-old who's he's a daddy's boy. He's a jet, but geez, he's clingy. I can't go and have a shower. He wants to jump in the shower with me. If I leave for meetings, I just say that I'm going somewhere and I'll be back because. Obviously, I travel a lot, so I'm gone for 2 days at a time. And he thinks every time I leave to go and have a meeting that I'm gone for 2 days. So he slowly understands it.
How are they going? Are they any going to play AFL, you reckon? Got much talent coming through?
We got the older boys, Coop. He's 14 and a half. He's starting to grow into his body. So I think they get to that age where they develop a little bit, and he's at St Laurie's where he goes to school. They got good footy and basketball programs, so he's in there sort of doing starter weights just to understand to try and stop injuries.
Does he love it?
He loves it. Loves football.
He wants to make it.
He's bad. I remember when I was in Melbourne, my last couple of years, I was getting to the stage where I was getting sick of football, just with the 24/7 radio and the TVs, and you couldn't do anything because footy's so mad down there. I'd get home and it'll be at this stage St Kilda and Freo were shit at that stage. And the last thing I wanted to do was just watch football. And I'd get in and he'd be watching that. It'll be like 15 and 16 on the ladder, and he's sitting there watching this game intently. I'm like, mate, turn it off.
That's like my old man. When I used to play, like I'd go over and he'd just have the fucking footy channel on non-stop. I'm like, come on, mate, get it off.
It's
does your head in a bit.
Especially but for a young kid like that. And then as soon as I came up here, because football it's getting bigger up here. It's getting a lot bigger than what it was. But I found myself that I'd be sitting there and I'd start watching it with him because you sort of when it's not in your face in like the Herald Sun and on the news, like sometimes my first year up here, we weren't in the paper till you wouldn't see it till page 12. It would be like a little article, and you wouldn't get it on Channel 7 until they started to get half decent. So I find I'm up here now watching footy channels and I'm listening to SEN because you're trying to understand what's going on
and stay involved.
Yeah.
Is that why you're up here, living here, to get to be away from all that stuff?
No, I think initially when the move up, because I never expected to move away from Hawthorn, just until Mitch and Louis went the year before, and then obviously having the relationship with Fags that I do and I did at Hawthorn. It was pretty much long. I was tossing back and forth because I had a job at 7 that I was going into, and Lauren said, "Why don't we just go as a bit of an adventure for the kids?
Yeah.
If it doesn't work, we're 2 years up here. We've tried something different. If not, we go back to the family home." And the kids were booked into school, so. We were up here for 6 months, playing golf in winter in shorts and t-shirt. Where you're seeing mates down in Colac freezing and Melbourne freezing. And I think Loz said it was about May, June. She goes, "We're not going to go back." And I thought I was just it's
So
good.
you're up here for good now, you reckon?
Yeah. We've sold the family home in Melbourne,
Oh,
and we just moved in not far from here, so close to the par 3, which is going to come in handy.
100%.
But yeah, no. So and I think. People sort of say, "Do you miss family?" I reckon I've almost seen family more being up here. Obviously, COVID's a bit different because you couldn't do anything. But my first 2 years, I reckon we had every home game. I reckon we had family up, whether it be mates or my family or Loz's family. We'd have people up, so you'd see them quite regularly. And then, as a Victorian, people always travel to Queensland. That's when they go to holiday. So it's either Gold Coast or it's either Noosa. So it's an hour either way for us to go and catch up, which is quite nice.
Yeah. What about coaching?
Yeah.
Or are you just happy with the media stuff?
No, I think I love that side of coaching.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you can go out there and try and teach young guys. I reckon when I was about 25, I was sitting there going, "Why the hell would you be a coach?"
Yeah.
You can see what it does to them, and
So serious, aren't they?
Yeah, and I think, but that's the pressure of the game. I think if you watched it, and we've even seen the last couple of years when teams haven't succeeded or haven't raised the expectations of the board or supporters, they get sacked.
Yeah,
They're straight out, no matter how much work they put in.
Cutthroat.
So, and I always thought, nah, why would you do it? But then as you get older, and I had the year at Hawthorn, 2017, my last year, it was all about developing the kids. And then up here was the same thing. It was being able to enjoy the sort of the senior player, but do a bit of coaching stuff as well. And absolutely loved it. So,
are you still doing anything now at the Lions?
no, I did a little bit of work last pre-season, but nothing officially. I had 2 years of a part-time assistant coach. But then with the travel back on and with the full boys, it was just too hard. So I sort of said to Loz, once Tanner, who's 3, the young one, once he gets into school in 2 or 3 years, we'll probably sit back and assess then, do I go into coaching or do I stay in the media? Because the work-life balance in media is good, because I've got 3 months at home now. Where if you're coaching, you're sort of, it's the same.
Every day.
It's the Monday to Friday, and then you've got travel on the weekends, and then
Even at night, you're probably coding and all that type of shit as well.
Yeah. And that was one part I actually didn't mind that. So my last year at Hawthorn and my first years, I'd actually go and code the games.
Would you?
Because, I'd go home and I'd be sitting there and I'd sit back and have a good recovery, have a beer. I'd normally go and play a round of golf on a Sunday just to be a bit active, where there's 9 holes. And then I'd sit back and I'd code on the Sunday. And I wouldn't watch all the game, but I'd get a good understanding, just so if any of the younger players at the Lions would come up or...
What would you code? Like what, just more other people?
No, I'd watch the game from behind the goals. So I always found, as a defender, but it also, you can see a lot more from behind. You understand how opposition teams come out of a stoppage. How opposition come out of stoppage, how we're moving it from a stoppage, how the running patterns of the mids in front of me or my teammates. And it just gave you a better understanding of when I got there on a Monday that I could talk to them without just guessing on how they played. So I know a lot of the senior blokes did it for me when I was growing up, and it helped. So I thought that was the best way for me to understand their game, but also sort of do my role as well.
That's good. And what do you reckon the difference was like with Hawthorn and Brizzy? Because you're like probably different circumstances at Hawthorn, like being captain and whatever. Like, did you notice much of a difference?
I think teams just go through their transition phase and their development phase, and I saw a lot of Brisbane and of what Hawthorn went through. So we went through a stage where we thought we were doing the best we could, but it's not until you have Andrew Russell and Alistair Clarkson come in and they lift the standards to that next stage that no soft drink throughout. Like, so I'll sit down and have a soft drink midweek. And
Yeah.
Andrew Russell made a rule that if I see anyone with a soft drink, look out.
Bullshit.
So it's just a dead flat rule. And I remember it was the first camp we had up at Brisbane. We went to down at Tassie, and I walked in and we had the big cafeteria line and we had the drinks thing, and everyone in there had Sprite, Coke, and I'm sitting there going, geez, I'd get my ass kicked if I was Hawthorn. I didn't say anything because I didn't want to come in from another club and go, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't, because it's the best way to piss people off. And blokes that have had, you look at Zorks, and I don't know if he had a soft drink or not, but...
he would have. He loves his Coke.
Does he? But he's won, he had four BNFs by then, or 3 BNFs. So if I come in and tell him what to do straight away, he'll tell him to piss off. So I remember the next day I went in and I only did what Andrew Russell and the others did for me when I was a young player. I went and grabbed 5 bottles of water. I think there was Cam Rayner, there was Bays, there was Bales, there was Stas. Who else was the year that I got in there? And I just went and grabbed their soft drink and gave them water. Yeah. And didn't say anything. I said, boys, you don't need that.
Yeah.
And then it was funny that the next day there was probably 20 of the boys just went and grabbed the water, and then it sort of filtered through. So there was
everyone gets wind of it as well. Hodgie's fucking giving us waters. Like stuff
yeah. And I think that's the way you can sort of start without going rah rah rah. You got to do that. It was just more something if I can teach the younger guys. So my mindset coming up here was about teaching the 20-year-olds what I learned at 26, 27. If I could teach them that at 20, 21, then they're going to be fast track their development, and it could be through football stuff, but it's also small little stuff like that, which. Yes, your body craves a soft drink if you have it. As soon as you stop drinking it, then you don't. Yeah. You don't need it anymore. So, but we went through the same at Hawthorn and different stuff of developing on field, where you've seen what the Lions have been able to do the last 3 or 4 years. It's just about getting the right people and putting them in the right position. And I think Fags and Swanee and all that have done a bloody good job. And it was just good to be a part of it for a couple of years. Now I'm old and fat and sit back and watch it.
Yeah, 100%. All right, we'll get into some questions here. I've got a fucking list.
Oh, hard hitting. Shit.
Very hard hitting.
That's a lot.
So you're starting a new team. What past player are you picking first?
Start. You got to go. You got to go, Bud.
Bud, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sitting there going, well, there's a lot of. I'll put probably Cyril in there too, but I'll probably go Bud. Buddy. Just the fact that you know what, when he was in his prime, and people sort of seen him at parts now, and he's not what he used to be. But I saw him do some amazing things as a bloke who's 6'5". I think it was hooker for Essendon. Two games in a row was the same play.
Goals.
Got him up to the wing. There's a bloke who's 102, 103, 104 kilos. Turn him round and then just sprint back, taking bounces, looking at him. Yeah. So I'd probably have to go Bud. And then build a team.
Yeah. Love
around
that.
Him.
One player you would want to play with, past or present?
That I haven't?
No, you haven't.
I haven't. Michael Voss.
Yeah?
Yeah. I remember even playing against him. It was because they went through their heydays of 1, 2 and 3. I got my first year was 2002. I remember playing against him. I was standing in the middle. I think it was either 04, it might have been 05. And he stood right in front of me, and I just sort of pushed him a little bit. As the ball gone up, he's turned around and just whacked me in the sternum and dropped me. It was almost like, mate, if you want to play these for the big boys, you've got to be ready at every chance. And then just how he owned the field, how he would run through blokes fairly, but how he would get bashed himself and get back up.
Then you started doing that. You took that into your game.
I thought if he's going to do it to me, I'm going to start doing it to other young blokes.
Yeah. Love that. Biggest influence on your career?
Only one.
Oh, you can say whatever.
Okay, I'll say biggest change I had was Andrew Russell and Clarkson when they come across, and it was, as I sort of said before, it was you don't know what you don't know, and they taught me so much about football, but also about you're not going to get to the peak of your ability if you don't put the work in when people don't see it. Yep. So those two, and then as far as leadership, probably Mitch. Vanders and Mitch were crucial with developing. So when Mitch was captain and I was vice, he would let me, because he always said that I was going to take over once I sort of developed to that stage. So he would sit down and all issues go to the captain. He would let me think through what I would do, and then he'd say, okay, how would you handle this? And I'd tell him, and sometimes he'd say, oh, piss off, I'm not using that. Or sometimes he'd say, yep, you're not far from it. So he gave me a lot of experience before actually getting the job, so I could handle it a lot better when I was made captain.
Yeah, nice. Favourite player growing up?
I was a Richmond supporter.
Same here.
So Matty Richardson, I used to love watching him play.
Yeah.
How he carried on as well.
I used to love Nick Duffy.
Yeah.
Fucking love Daffy.
Yeah, Richmond had a good team, and bloody good song as well. When you go to the MCG, I remember you'd drive down, and they had some patches, 95, 99, where they had good years. Just listen to the MCG, and they'd belt that out. Who
was
great.
one team you hated? Because I got drafted, I fucking hated Richmond. I went from going for them, and then they were my most hated side. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, my first game was against Richmond, and I remember in the first game in the pocket, I started wrestling Brad Ottens. And I'm going, geez, this is a whirlwind. 12 months ago, I'm sitting there going, go Ottens, go Ottens. And I'm wrestling him in the pocket.
All right, like 3 players you love to watch now in today's game.
Love Bonampelli.
Yep.
Love the way he goes about it. Huey McCluggage.
Yep.
Real fan of Huey. How he just smooth. He just effortless. Stuck for a third. Drop some names and I'll...
Cripps, Dusty, who else we got?
Yeah, actually, probably Cripps.
Cripps?
And just how big he is. Watching someone who's 6'4" can run like he does.
Yeah.
There was a game, they ended up losing. It was round 23 this year where they need to win to get the finals, and he did everything. I think he had 30. He had more contested possessions that game than his teammates had touches. So probably Cripps. When he's up and about and he's fit, he's great to watch.
Yeah. All-time favourite footy boots?
Puma Kings.
Yeah. The old school.
Old school. And they changed them for some reason. I went through, I reckon it was about 07 or 08, where I had the same pair of boots, just absolutely loved it. And then they changed the stock. I was shattered. But and then they bought back the new ones about 14 or 15, 2014.
Yeah.
Were
they the same though?
No, they weren't the same.
Fucking nowhere near it. Nah. They hurt your feet, those ones.
But they were, because I went with Puma from when I was 17 to finishing, so went all different kinds of boots that they put on. But
you still with them? With
yeah. Cobra.
That's brilliant. Funniest teammate and biggest pest for your career?
Walks is pretty funny.
Yeah?
Walks is, I don't know, he
just takes a piss out of himself and everyone,
Yeah, when we used to go and do the ivory jackets, and he used to write up the plays before.
He gives it everything,
and he does. He was more professional with his write-ups of the golf than what he would be of studying opposition players.
Yeah.
So he was always funny. And a pest, Michael Osborne.
Yeah.
He'd just do stuff to annoy you.
Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
What's one thing you think the game needs to work on?
I hate how judgmental people are on kids. You look at the draft that's just gone through. They know everything about every kid and what they're doing, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, and then we build an expectation on them straight away. And if they don't live up to it after their first or second year, and I'm probably a little bit sympathetic for the guys who struggle early, because I got to about year 3 or 4 and didn't want to play anymore because it was the comparison.
Is that right?
Yeah. It was
you wanted to give it away almost? Or?
Yeah, it was after second year and during my third year where I struggled. Was still playing, but just wasn't having impact. Dan Alstone, who I got drafted with and lived with for 2 years, he got delisted, so bloke that I spent every second with wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So that's where I'll probably look at the expectations put on these young guys coming through. I just hope people just ease a little bit. And
is that more like the media you're saying, or
it's a bit everything.
Everything.
I think if you look at Jack Ginnivan this year, media, and this bloke's got a bit of spunk, and you're probably going to tell him to tone it down a little bit. But this is a young kid who's gone from I think he was in his second year, didn't play much in his first year, he was rookie, but he's gone from living with mum and dad to now the big smoke, and he's acting how he thinks he should, and people just give it to him. So I just think that social media is terrible.
It's a killer,
Unfortunately, all young blokes want feedback, and there's certain feedback you listen to and there's certain you don't, and a lot of the time you don't understand that until later on. But they go straight to Twitter, whether they play a good or bad game, it's the worst thing to do.
Yeah. So back then when you were going through that, like the welfare probably wasn't...
Back then, I'm not that old.
What's this, 05? 05?
04. Yeah,
so did you just have to cope through that on your own, or...?
No, the club were good. Yeah, so we had a bloke, Simon Lloyd, who's now... head of footy at Geelong and going for the North CEO role. Yeah. He was sort of like our PDM club psych. Yeah. But I just used to go and jump on the couch and chat to him. He was really good. Like he was one of those blokey blokes where you could just go and vent open up and say and he wouldn't walk out there. He'd walk out and go, shit, I'm ready for training, and he's like, no, it's all right. And then he would keep an eye on you. And Swabby was really good. He knew that I was struggling, probably my diet as a young kid wasn't up to it, which probably led to why I
Too
wasn't.
many cokes.
Yeah, that plus Maccas and a few beers on weekends probably didn't help. But no, they still will support there. But clubs are so much better now.
Yeah.
And the AFL are better looking out for players than what they used to be.
What made you angry on the footy field?
I got angry a bit. I know, but I was maybe angry. Making the same mistake over and over again.
You or a teammate?
Both. And a lot of stuff. And I get just as angry at myself as anyone else. But when you know people are trying to do the right thing and they make a mistake, I've no problems.
Yeah.
When people are trying to do the wrong thing and make a mistake, that gives me the shits.
Yeah.
But also, if I did a bad kick or I tried to stab it and then I do it 2 seconds later,
You're
you
flat.
get angry because you know better. But doing silly things that you know that you shouldn't.
Yeah. All right, these are some like people sending these questions. So this is from Twisties. You know Twisties? Yeah, no media. He goes, what happened after Lloyd got knocked out? He reckons you were fucking going through the pubs trying to find him. Is that true?
Who reckons that?
Twisties. He heard that. That's his mail.
Oh, that is the
He
worst.
goes, don't quote me on that, but I am. Like,
Oh, mate, there was no doubt I was probably in a pub, but I wasn't searching for anyone. It was the end of a season.
there you go, Twitter.
And then the thing he went through and it hit Sully, and I roomed with Sully for 7-8 years.
Yeah.
And you could probably see it was Essendon and Hawthorn had that big rivalry, which got built up by past players and supporters. And then both teams need to win to make the finals. And Lloyd had come off the line and dropped Saul and absolutely flushed him. Yeah. And then I think there's about 5 or 6 of us that were going. And I remember I saw a vision of him not too long ago. There was a couple ones that lucky I missed him because there was a couple swung. But I'm a big one. If it happens on the field, I'll try and square up with you there. But as soon as the foot, I know we carried on, Hawthorn carried on with some comments. I think Campbell Brown said something and Clarko, where I was, as soon as you walk off that line, don't care. Yeah. We'll get you next year.
Yeah.
He retired, so we couldn't.
Yeah.
But I've never been someone to continue with something that happened on the footy field. Yeah. He did something for his team and got suspended, missed the finals. But I've probably done the same a couple of times against North. I probably crossed the line trying to lift our side. So everyone does it. Everyone makes mistakes.
There you go, Twitter.
Yeah, I did not go through pubs trying to find him. I can tell you that. That's an amazing rumor.
Yeah, isn't it? Hardest opponent.
So when I was playing midfield, Lingy, when he tagged me, because I wasn't a great runner, and he was bigger, he was stronger, and he was a better runner. So I always struggled with him because you'd try and whack him or get physical, and then he'd just smile at you and just laugh at you because you knew you couldn't get under his skin.
He was fit, eh?
He was fit. Yeah,
He didn't look it, but he was fit.
For a bloke who got drafted as a big fatty, like he played full forward for Geelong, and then just was desperate and so passionate to play, and that's why he was Premiership captain with Geelong. But and then the other one I struggled with, it was in 2009, Clarko, because of played okay late in 08 across half-back, so I was sort of a semi-centre half-back. So I had 2 weeks where I played on Brownie and Goodsey. And Brownie kicked 6 and Goodsey had 30 and had 3. So it was probably a couple of weeks where I quickly got moved back into the midfield because they'll soon find you out if you're playing out of position.
Brilliant. What flag was the best and why?
They've all got their... Geelong was amazing.
That's the first one? No,
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, it was just a young group of guys. Like, what was I, 24? Mitch was captain, 26. We had Crawford and Dewey. Dewey came back for it. But just no one thought we'd beat Geelong. And we probably shouldn't. They were the best team throughout the year, but we did what Clarko said. He had some good tactics that led into the game. We sort of pressured Geelong and they started doing things, uncharacteristic things that they didn't do throughout the year. And to sort of send Crawford off. Crawford did so much for our club when he probably could have left. He was looking to go to, when Clarko came on board at the end of 2004, he was looking to go to Collingwood.
Oh, shit.
He stayed on, and to send him off in that way was really, really fitting.
How were the celebrations after that? Any stories you can say?
The 08 was a lot bigger than the other ones.
You were younger.
I was a bit younger. So I had 2 kids up. We actually just had Cooper. He was about 6 or 7 weeks old, 8 weeks old maybe. So Lauren had to go back to give him a feed. So we went back with her, and then I think the grandparents come and got him. My last recollection on the way home was Brent Guerra and myself getting a horse and cart.
Oh, you're kidding.
From Crown.
Oh, those ones that go through the city.
Yeah, from Crown, because the club put us up at hotels.
Yeah.
So the girls went back to get Coop. So we got the horse and cart, and we're going through, and I remember Gooey had his medallion on.
Yeah.
And then there was these 3 blokes absolutely poleaxe hanging shit on his hair.
That is brilliant.
It was that was my last recollection. We went back, I think, had a beer at the hotel and went to bed. But the other years are a bit more, from my weight to 13, 14, that's when things really got serious. Clarko's a big one. You're not drinking on stage. You're not wearing sunnies on stage. It's all about your image, all about the perception for supporters and not being a smart ass because you won. So everything we sort of did after that was pretty measured, and we probably over celebrated in 08. We came back. Andrew Russell reckoned we had an extra person of body fat on us from everyone, like 2 or 3 kilos here, 2 or 3 kilos there, and over 40 blokes. There's extra 80. Yeah, well, that's the thing is we celebrated too much. We didn't know how to prepare for the next year. So after 13, 14, 15, we're a bit more mature with how we handled it.
Brilliant. You don't have to answer this one, but is Buddy's 100 in 100 true or false?
I'm not. I don't know.
No comment. Yeah. All right.
I've been asked that so many times.
All right. So these are random. Summer or winter?
Oh, summer.
Summer.
Hate the cold.
Day or night game?
Oh. No, I used to love the night games.
Yep.
Night games.
Night.
But an Arvo grand final.
Yep. Yeah.
Twilight grand final.
Traditional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll push it back in between.
Yeah.
I like the 3 or 4 o'clock.
Oh, yellow footy.
Yeah. So then by the time you get to the game's done at 7.
Yeah.
Players can still go out and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And supporters, I just like that twilight time. So.
Yep. Goal or mark of the year?
Well, I could
Have
never.
you done any?
No. I'll take mark of the year.
Mark
of the year, I reckon.
If you weren't an AFL player, what would you be?
Probably still in Colac. Accounting.
Accounting.
I used to love accounting as a kid. Yeah.
The numbers, yeah, right.
Yeah, but I used to love cricket.
Cricket, yeah.
I hope play cricket for Australia, but every kid says that. When you're a erratic bowler, you don't know where it's going.
One person you'd want to spend a weekend with? Anyone in the world?
Michael Jordan.
Yep. That's what, next one. Top 3 sports stars. Your favourite?
Top 3 would be Jordan, Ricky Ponting, Shane Warne.
Yep. You would have met both of them.
Yeah.
Yep. What do you hate spending money on?
What do I hate spending money on? Tax and stamp duty. Oh no, I've got 4 kids, so I don't get any money anyway.
No.
They come and take all the money out of the wallet, so I don't see where it goes.
I like that. Who would play you in a movie?
Oh, fuck. You.
Yeah.
You might have to put on some weight though.
Give us someone. Brad Pitt.
Mark Wahlberg. Similar rigs.
Yeah. Mark
Mark
Wahlberg. Yeah,
Wahlberg.
love it. I love it. Last movie you watched?
Oh, I watched one just before I got here.
And I need a rating because Frog.
It was shit.
Oh, was it?
It was. Oh, there was actually I watched Lauren's my wife's the world's worst movie chooser. There was one with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds about the Christmas. It was a Christmas one. It was a musical. It was shocking.
Have you seen that?
No. Have a look at it.
Out of 10?
1.
1. Fuck.
2.
It's a first 1
2.
or 2.
Oh, it's probably. I'll give it a 4 because I like Ryan Reynolds and Will Ferrell. But it was singing it at every opportunity. I'm sitting there, oh, this is not good. And then we watched one just afterwards, and I can't remember. It was actually worse. Yeah. So it's I need to get a good one.
I love that. Favourite all-time meal?
Chicken parma and chips.
Yeah. And we'll finish off. One place you want to travel to that you haven't?
I'll give you 2.
Yep.
I'll give you 2. As I said, I'm a massive cricket fan. I wouldn't mind going on a tour to the Caribbean.
Yeah.
That would be cricket.
Yeah.
Yep. And then also Ashes to England.
Oh, fucking oath.
That
and
would
follow
be,
them each game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And just get a good group of mates to go across there.
Yep.
The only thing is the Ashes in England are always during the footy season.
Yeah.
So
A few more years, maybe.
Yeah, be able to get over there. But no, they're 2 things, especially when the West Indies cricket isn't as big as what it used to be. But having Richardson and Brian Lara and those kind of guys was something that I always wanted to do, but haven't been able to.
Like, that'd be unreal. All right. we'll play some darts. Are you happy to play some darts?
sure,
You
go
played
for it.
footy before on the dartboard?
No.
Oh, I'll explain it on the camera.
All right, perfect.
Perfect. Thanks, Hodgie. So, darts, we're going to play footy. So, first quarter, 20 is the goals. Yep. Points. Yep. Second quarter, the 6 is the goal. Okay. Points, and then we go around. Perfect. So, yeah, if you get, that's what, 3 goals.
What's the bullseye?
Hey?
What's the bullseye?
No bullseye. No bullseye. No bullseye. Irrelevant. You want to go first?
No, you tell me how to do it.
Oh, hang on. Oh, we're even.
We should just go play golf.
Yeah.
Oh, he's spraying him.
That's 5. We're on 1 goal. 7. Yeah.
We'll have to go
Figure it
back.
out. We'll figure it out. Oh, yeah. You've got it.
There it is.
Oh. Oh. He had it. What's that? 2 points. Yeah, 1 though.
2 points.
Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.